Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Jess Larkin, and I'm the Marketing and Communication Specialist at Cornerstone. I'm your host for the Build Your Brand webinar series and your go-to gal for all of your marketing questions because I want to help you build a brand that's focused on growth. We've leveled up our content this year with brand new webinars on copywriting, basic design, customer feedback, onboarding, and productivity and time management techniques. And as always, these webinars will be available on the Cornerstone event calendar as well as the weekly Monday Minute newsletter. So look out for those. For our webinar today, we are talking about copywriting, which is not a topic that we've actually ever covered for the Build Your Brand series. So I'm pretty excited to get started. But before we get into that, as always, we'll have to start with a little bit of housekeeping. My contact information is right there on the screen, and if you'd like, you can give us a follow on social media. We post industry and Cornerstone updates and information, so go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube to give us a follow. And if you haven't already heard, we have a top secret project coming up soon that will help you upgrade your own marketing. In March, we're going to be releasing a new consultation program to help you with services like branding, website design, social media, and much more. So stay tuned for more information coming very, very soon. All right, let's talk copywriting. So brace yourself. I have a statistic that I think is going to change the way that you think about your own marketing. You have 5 seconds to impress your audience and communicate your value. 5 seconds. That doesn't seem like a lot of time, but you would be amazed with the power of good copywriting. So what is copywriting? Copywriting encourages an audience to act or respond to a piece of marketing. Good copy convinces people to take action with strong messaging that tells a story and or appeals to the audience emotionally. Copywriting is different from content writing in that content writing is typically focused more on brand awareness. So think about things like blog posts, video scripts, etc. Content writing is more long-term, long-form, organic material, while copywriting, on the other hand, is more about encouraging your audience to take a specific action. So this could be in the form of a sales page, a website, an email, a flyer, etc. The goal of copywriting is very simple, and that is conversion. A conversion occurs when a visitor to your website completes a desired goal, such as filling out a form or making a purchase. And it doesn't always have to be a website either. A conversion can happen when you've encouraged people to give you a phone call and you receive that phone call. If a prospect reads through an email from you, for example, and responds based on your call to action at the end of the email to get a free quote, that is a lead that has then been converted based on your advertising. And that's exactly what we want from ads, right? You want for the ad to generate enough interest for the audience to contact you to use your services. Let's consider the best copywriting out there. What does it all have in common? Here's some excellent examples that I found just by doing a quick search on the web. The copy on these pieces are very effective, from the personalization of the Coke bottles that I'm sure you've seen in most of the stores that you've been to. And these encourage consumers to find their own names on their bottle because it's a lot more fun. The RX bar that you can see on the left there that tells consumers exactly which ingredients they're ingesting. The hydro flask that encourage adventure. And the hair dye that you can see on the left that looks so natural, quote, only her hairdresser knows for sure. You might not think of all of these examples as copywriting, but they absolutely are. It's verbiage that captures attention. I know for a fact that the copywriting for the RX bar has caught my eye in the grocery store more than once. So how do you actually put together good copywriting? Writing is overwhelming enough to begin with, so writing with intention is obviously much more difficult. When you're creating copy, there are a number of elements to consider, and these are the ABCs of copywriting. So note that these will be very similar to the basics of sales. That's something to keep in mind, is that sales and copywriting, they kind of go hand in hand. So here are the ABCs of copywriting. First, we have attention, and then we have a big promise, and then a call to action. These are all three the elements that you want to include in your copywriting to get your audience to take action from an ad. So attention. Good copy grabs the reader's attention through strong headlines or what we call hooks. 80% of people will not read past the headline. And like I mentioned earlier, you only have 5 seconds to convince an audience to keep reading. So what can you communicate in those 5 seconds that will pique their curiosity? This is where the inverted triangle comes into play, and you might have heard of this before. The inverted triangle is a writing format that places the most important information at the top of the piece that you're writing. This format is more commonly used in news articles with the lead of the article starting at the top with the body following it. And you can kind of recognize when news articles do this because they answer the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. So there was a bake sale at 6:30 on Monday evening at St. Loretta's. It gives you all of the information that you need right in the forefront. And it gives you all of the important information that the audience needs to know about. This applies also to copywriting. Once you have their attention with the hook and you've created some urgency, it's time to build curiosity. You want your audience to ask, okay, so what's next? And with that, you need to consider the customer journey. Where are they at now in the sales process? What is the simplest, most effective way to get their questions and curiosity fulfilled by your services? Then it's time to consider the big promise, which for the audience means, what's in it for me? Most of you are salespeople, so you know that the value of the selling process is the relationship you build with the client, not the product or service that you're selling. Your audience is way more interested in the why. What is the big promise that you offer up front, and how is it given? As you consider the quote-unquote big promise, it's important to keep in mind the difference between features and benefits. Features describe what the product or service does, setting it apart from the competition, but benefits describe how the product can help the audience. And for marketing messages, it's typically better to go with the benefits-heavy approach because benefits are what drives the consumer to actually purchase. So you can offer health insurance to them. Okay, they understand that, but why should they care? Is it going to help their family stay healthy? Is it going to help them with their budget? Is it going to provide an incentive for people's employees? Figuring out the benefits of your services will help create compelling copy that leads to conversions. Finally, your copy needs a strong call to action, which encourages your audience to take action after you hooked them on your services. This could be encouraging them to call you, send an email, fill out a form, etc. However, it's vitally important that you only ask your prospect to do one thing, not multiple. You don't want to leave any kind of room for confusion because that's when they walk away and that's when you lose your conversion. So make your call to action extremely clear, very concise, and very easy to spot in your copywriting. Let's consider the ABCs of copywriting with this piece from our good friend Netflix. This is the copy that greets you immediately when you visit their website. The headline and the hook of this piece are at the top. Unlimited movies, TV shows, and more. So as a consumer, my thoughts go to unlimited, which is a very strong qualifier that's very appropriate for the context of the business itself, especially when you consider that they started as a direct competitor to cable companies where the amount of shows may be limited. If you notice, the hook is also stronger and it has larger text than the rest of the piece, so it definitely stands out. So already I'm hooked on the copy and my eyes are moving down the piece where it says watch anywhere, cancel anytime. Well, dang, that sounds pretty good too. Notice that Netflix doesn't go into how the technology works or anything about the site itself. It just gives you the benefits of the product, as we mentioned before, which answer, what's in it for me? What's in it for me is that I get unlimited movies, TV shows, and I can watch anywhere at any time, and I don't have to be obligated. I can cancel the service. Then they have a very clear call to action at the bottom that makes it easy for them to either get started with the site or restart their membership. This encourages the audience that the process is simple and that they aren't going to be locked into any contracts, and that Netflix only wants them to keep the service if they think it's of value. The best part, I can mull over my thoughts on Netflix, and I know I can go right back to the homepage of the website to get signed up at my own pace. Notice too that the background of the piece has plenty of titles that they think their audience would be interested in, specifically titles that are exclusive to the site. So you can see they have the Chappelle Show, Firefly Lane, they have The Crown on there, a bunch of different TV shows and movies that are available once you sign up for this site. Overall, the piece is very effective. It's simple, it's memorable, and it's easy to take action on. These are all elements that make for great copywriting. Of course, there's more to copywriting than just writing the copy, though. So here are some additional notes that you should consider. The inner skeptic. We all know her. We've all been her. She comes out when brands make outlandish claims about their products or when they make promises that no one can keep. So consider yourself as a consumer. You know that there is some marketing out there that makes you roll your eyes or raise your eyebrow. Get flat abs for the low price of $12.99 per month. No more wrinkles in just 2 months. Never have to do dishes again. Whatever buzzwords they can use to grab your attention, but it's the wrong kind of attention. And unfortunately, health insurance is going to be one of those products and services that consumers are likely already suspicious of. But here's the secret that many marketers don't want to consider. You don't need buzzwords and explosive clickbait to make a good ad. You don't need starbursts and outstanding claims. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You need intentional copy that speaks to your strengths and the why power of your business. That's where you can draw in the skeptics who will favor that content over the car salesman content any day. Trust the value of your business and include it throughout the customer journey from sales to retention. And when you finish writing an ad, look back at it and think, if I were just finding out about my business for the first time, what would I think of it? It's also valuable to profile your audience. Who are you trying to appeal to? What does your customer look like? What do they want? What do they need? How can you help them? And what is the big promise for your audience? The audience is largely going to influence the context of the piece, which is why targeting your advertising and marketing is so vital to a successful campaign. For example, if you're creating a flyer for small business owners, the copy that you use for that piece is going to be way different than the marketing that you write for family health insurance. Therefore, you would target both audiences separately with different messaging, different benefits, and different calls to action. Next, you want to test your copy. To find out which messages reach audiences the best, I recommend trying A/B testing for your copy. A/B testing, also known as split testing, is one of the techniques used to test and monitor the conversion performance of different landing pages or ads. This means showing two variants of the same ad to different segments of audiences at the same time and comparing which variant drives more conversions. This means putting together content for two different ads, sending them off each to half of your distribution list, and then reevaluating which message performed better. With that information, you can then tailor your future messages more properly in the future based on what it is that people seem to like. One practical example is when you send out email newsletters. If you send out a monthly newsletter to your clients, split your distribution list in half and send out two different subject lines. The newsletter with the most open rates, clicks, and interactions will likely be the newsletter that you want to emulate in the future. Lastly, and you probably knew it was coming, simplify, simplify, simplify. I know that I stress this a lot in most of my webinars, but that's only because it's so important. Good copywriting is clear and concise. Most times the most effective copy is the most succinct and down to earth. You don't need to include every small detail about your business on an ad to make a difference to your audience. Like we talked about, you need to answer the what is in it for me question. Good copy matters in a successful marketing strategy. And if you're looking to do some major prospecting in 2021, start with your advertising and optimizing your language. Start with the marketing pieces that you already have, and then continue to add to your library as the need arises. And of course, let me know if you'd like to learn more in maybe a Copywriting 201 webinar. Let me know in the survey below in the description box what additional marketing content would be valuable for you as you prospect in 2021. I also want to hear what else it is that you struggle with when it comes to your marketing, so email me at jlarkin@crnstone.com. Put that back on the screen here. we go. There's my contact information. Email me and let me know what kind of information you would like to learn about marketing and communications. Thank you all for joining today. If you're interested, the next Build Your Brand webinar is all about basic flyer design, which will take place either live or recorded on March 16th. So details for that are coming very soon. Thank you all and have a great day.